I'm going to start with the basics of lists because it is very important for you to understand what are lists. So what are lists? So very first thing is lists are collection of items, okay, which could be identical or of different types. If I create a list, okay, I can create a list in any way. Like you can see on my screen here, if I want to create a list, I can name it as anything. Like I can write L1, or instead of L1 and L2, I think the best way to create lists is to name the lists according to the work they are doing. For example, if I am going to store few numbers in my list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply take a variable name and identifier named numbers. Okay. Can anyone tell me what are identifiers? When we give a name to any object which has been created in the memory. Okay. In Python, every data value is treated as an object, whether you are creating an integer or a string object, or you are initializing a float variable, everything is considered as an object, and every such object is referred or pointed by labels. Those labels are itself known as what? Identifiers. Okay. So now you can see that I have already taken an identifier numbers over here, and I'm going to assign some numbers to it. So you can see these are simple numbers which I have assigned to this list. That is numbers. So I have named it as numbers. If I want to store the names of students of the class, so what I'll do, I'll create a list named students. So I'll be giving names over here, like I'll take the names of you people only. Anunay, Mohit. So what are these names of students? And apart from this, you can also have some lists which contain more than one types of data. That is, I write here I have written something like this, and I'll even change this. I'll make it as 5. So you can see what is this. Shashwat Nath, 17. I'm trying to specify his age. 67.5 marks he got in computer science out of 70. Okay, so this is a float value. You can see this is an integer value, and there are 3 strings in this list. So this is what? This is a list which stores items of different types. Create 5 different lists of different types. I have an option in which through which I can create an empty list. Like for example, L equals list. So I'm using a list function over here. List function is used to create an empty list. Okay. So now over here, if you print L, you will see that it is an empty list because there is an empty pair of empty square brackets with nothing inside it. So this is an empty list. Okay. Now, I had also explained to you that lists could be created using sequences. Lists could be created using sequences. How? Suppose my question is, create a list of even numbers from 1 to 100. I'm going to create a list of even numbers from 1 to 100 using sequences. How will I be doing that? Pay attention very carefully. So even numbers, I am naming my list identifier as even numbers, and within square brackets, I'm going to type this. X if, or I'm going to simply write for X in range, because even numbers, so I'm starting with 200, and I'm going to give a step of 2. That is, it is going to skip by 2. So 2 plus 2, it will give me 4. 4 plus 2, it will give me 6. Let us first check whether we are getting the required value or not. So you can see over here that in a GIF, a list was created. How this works, that I'm going to explain to you. So we'll see how we can do that. So this is what I had used. I'll write the complete thing, even numbers. So you can see over here, even numbers equals X for X in range 2, 100, 2. So over here, X in range, I have used the range function over here. So the first one, it begins from 2, and the step is given. It 2 is what? This 2 is the initial value, that is your first value. From where we have to start. 100 is my final value where we have to stop, and the last 2 is what? This is step, or we can also say skip value. That how many values you are going to skip. If you write 3 there, it will be adding 3 to initial value, that is 2 plus 3 equals 5. 5 plus 3 equals 8, and so on. But here it starts from 2, and because it starts from 2, the next value would be what? 2 plus 2, 4. The next value would be 4 plus 2, 6, and 8 and 10, and so on up to 100, because 100 is an even number. Quickly create a list of, sorry, I'm very, very sorry for that, list of odd numbers between 1 and 100. Read it very carefully and do it. See, I'm going to create it over here. Numbers, or I'll write multiples 4. That is multiples of 4. So I write X for X in range. Now my start value will be 100. My end value would be 1. And I'm going to take minus 4 as the skip. That is because I'm moving in a reverse order. That is from 100 to 1. So that is why I have taken minus 4. Now I'll be checking it out. Just see the answer. Sometimes your list can have nested list also. That is a list within a list. I write list 1 equals, and I give some values over here like 5, 6, 7, comma 8, comma. So now over here, how will you understand which list is within which list? Let us first understand this thing. Okay, so now over here I'm going to write the list values a little separately. So I'm going to write it. I'm going to take this in the next sheet. In this sheet probably, and here I'm going to separate out all the list items. So we have, you can see the list items over here. Within this I have 6, 5, 4, 8, then a bracket, then 1, and then 4, and then a closing bracket and a bracket over here. So I'm going to select everything, and I'm going to give it a center alignment so that you can see everything. So you can see that this is the list. Now, as I had already told you, that lists always have sequences. That is, list items always have sequences. They have subscripts. Every list item will be accessed using a subscript, and there is a two-way indexing, starting from, one is from left to right and another one is from right to left. So we start with 0, 1. Using the autofill, I'm going to just give it this -1, -2, and I'm going to use autofill again. So you can see the indexing over here. See how the indexing works. And while I am doing this, students, kindly note it down in your copy also, because I'll be asking you certain questions from here, right? Over here, 6 will be having the index 4. Next will be 5, 6 and 7, and same way over here also. Please make a note of it. Very sorry, because I was also quite distracted because I'm getting troubleshooting requests from everyone. So that's the problem which I am facing today. So today's class is obviously going to be like this. There are a lot many errors over here. Okay, we'll see it from here. Brackets are not considered, so I'll start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. And here also we are going to take it as -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. So this is how we are going to do it. So you can see that this is my list. Now over here, this is a sub list. What you can see over here is a sub list. That is 6, 5, 4, 8 is a nested list, a list within a list. So because here 5 is an item, 6 is an item, 7 is an item, this whole list is itself an item of list 1. And it is itself a list. So that means it will be having a sub indexing. So I'm going to insert another row over here. And within this row, I'm going to individually give subscripts to each of the items. And this list is also going to have negative indexing too. You can see it over here. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is my outer indexing, and my inner indexing is the 0, 1, 2, 3. If I tell you to figure out what is the index of the location of the element 5, how will you do that? I have list 1. First of all, I am going to specify the index of the First of all, I am going to specify the outer index, which specifies each individual item of list 1. So over here, 5 falls within this sublist, which in itself is the fourth element of list 1. Fourth element, why? Because I've started the indexing from 0, and 0, 1, 2, 3, that is first, second, third, and fourth. So I am going to take up 3 over here, and 5 falls as the second element of the sublist. So I'm going to take its index, that is 1. So this is list 1, 3 and 1. Now I'll be just specifying the indexing, and you have to tell me what is the value. List 2, 2 is 7. Fine. But then I have provided 8 also. Is it really going to give me the answer for this? Let us check the answer over here. Copy this list, and I'm going to see what answer it is going to give me. So I have taken 2 and 8. It is giving me an error. Int object is not subscriptable. So you can see over here that we have index 2, but index 2 refers to an element which is not a list. Okay, but if I write over here list 1, 3, 2, if I write here list 1, 3, 2, then I'm getting an answer, that is 4. Why? Because list 1, 3 refers this element over here. This is 3 and this is 2. That is, it is referring to the third element of the sublist 6548. So this is how we do the indexing, and same way with the negative indexing also. So that was all about nested lists. Now we are going to try to accept a list from the user programmatically. So how are we going to do that? We will be using the eval function for doing this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shrink the screen a little bit so that you are able to see what is happening at the bottom. There's no way to clear the screen, that's why we are doing this. So now over here, if I want to accept a list of values from the user, how will I do it? So suppose I name the list as values. So for that, what I'm going to do is I will use the eval function. What eval function does is it takes up, first of all, the input function is going to get the required input from the user, but it recognizes the input as string only. Now, depending upon the type of value which has been input, the eval function evaluates what type of data it is. Suppose if you are entering 40.2. So 40.2 is what type of a value? It is a float value. So eval function will assign 40.2 to values, and that value would be assigned as a float, not as string. So here also, if you want to enter a list, if you want to ask from the user a list, so you will be using the input function, no doubt, enter a list of values. And how the user has to enter is the user has to enter the values within the square brackets, so that the values, this whole thing, this whole input is accepted not as string but as a list. So I press enter. Now I type the value. So this is a list. Next is I had taught you how to access elements in the list. So for this we use for variable, or I can also say for item in collection. For item in collection, process item. That is how I can access each element within the list. So for that, I'll be doing it this way. For item in, I have used item for representing each value in values. When I say for item in values, press enter, and I'm writing here print item. It's giving me an error, missing parenthesis. Okay, fine. So for item in values, print item, press enter, and you get the values in this way. Okay, so this is what every item in the list is accessed. We start from the beginning, that is 45, 34, and we reach till 97. If you want it in the reverse order, of course, we will be using what? The range function. There is another way to do it. For I in range, I'll start from 0 and move to the last item. So for getting the last item, what will I do? I will use a len function and close it. And I will type here print item. I'm getting there is a problem over here. What is the problem? Let me see. I did something that is item. Can anybody point out what is the error in this question? The first one is correct. But here, what is the name of my list? It is values. Name of my list is values. So I'm going to write values I. And this is how my list is going to print. Last item which was there, yes, that is 97, because when I used this statement, when I executed this particular loop, in this item was the variable which was storing individual items in values. So the last item to be stored in item was 97. That was still there in the memory. That is the reason why 97 was printed. Got it? Now I want to print all these values. Everything will be same. All I have to do is I want to print all the values in the reverse order. Sorry, not in the reverse order, in the same line. I want to print all the values in the same line. So how will I be doing it? Values I is there, and I will use end equals. I'm going to give a space. Enter, and you can see all the values are printed in a single line. A small question for everyone. I want the values to be printed in this way. This is there. Instead of a space, I want an asterisk to be printed in between. Do it and tell me. So instead of end equals space, all I am going to do is simply provide what? Asterisk over. Of course, I cannot make any changes there. So I'll have to copy it here, and I will be, still I am having a problem. Print values I end equals asterisk and this. So we got this answer, right? So very good, everybody. Now I want to print all of them in the reverse order. So how will I be doing it? For I in range, I write len. Okay, tell me students, what answer should I get for this? What will be the output of this? It's going to be this. Why? What happened? I skipped this start, that is initial value. Let me tell you, in lists, initial value 0 is the default one. Last one, that is this one. Okay, now in this I have skipped the 0. You can see there was a 0 earlier over here, but in this particular statement there is no 0. Okay, so what I can do is, if I skip the 0, that is I am skipping the initial value, the default value is, or the default initial value is always considered as 0. Default initial value is always considered 0. Understood? The default initial value is always 0. Now a small program we will be doing using this. So I'm going to maximize the screen, and we will go to new file. We'll open a new file. We will save it. Usually I save all my programs here within list, and I'm going to give a simple name, listdemo.py. Okay. Now what I'm going to do in this is write a Python program to accept a list of numbers from user and print their sum. Now instead of using hashtag everywhere, I can use triple single quotes to start a block comment and close it with a triple single quotes to close the block comment. Okay, these are known as block comments. They are basically used for documentation, that is properly documenting your program. So now I'm going to take a list. I've named my list as a list. So I've taken a list and I'm going to use the eval function over here. Input, this is the easy way which I am using. Okay, eval I've already taught you. So instead of doing this, let's do it the hard way. A list equals list. That is, it will first create an empty list. Sorry. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a while loop, and for while loop I have to take an initial value. I have to take a loop control variable I, and I will start that from 0. Then I'll write I'm also taking, or maybe I'll take n, and I will ask it from the user how many values you want to enter. I've taken n. Now what I'm going to do is, now this thing I can do using while loop also. Now because I've already asked for the total number of values, there is no point in using while loop. I'm using simple for loop. For I in range, and over here if I start, if it is n number of values, okay, so that means I write here 1 comma n plus 1. This is how I have to do it. Alternatively, you can also simply write n. Why? Because it will take values starting from 0 to n. Understood? Because by default, your initial value is set to 0 if you are not providing any value. But if you start it from 1, you have to set it to n plus 1. Now over here, I'm going to ask for the values. So first of all, I'll take item equals enter a value, or enter an element, or instead of doing this, I can simply write element and what element? I plus 1. This will give a marker to the user which element he has to enter. Now once item is entered, what I can do is a list dot append item. Either I do this, or there is an alternative, that is a list plus equal to write item within square brackets. These are the two alternatives which I can do. So once this is done, I'm going to print my list. This is my list. Now I just don't have to print the list. I also have to find their sum. So for finding the sum, I'm coming to that a little later. First I will save this and we will run this. How many values? So I'm going to write 5 values. It's giving me an error over here. Okay. Let me see if this works. Okay, cannot concatenate. Fine. So I'll figure out this one, and I'm only going to give this right now so that we could run the program. So enter the element. I entered 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and my list is getting printed, but it is printed in the form of a string. What was the error? I had to convert this into that is integer. Right. Now once my list is printed, what I'm going to do is next, there are two ways in which I can find the sum. One is, I've already taken sum equals 0 over here. Instead of taking sum, I take s equals 0. Either I find the sum over here, that is s plus equal to item. Either I do this, or there is an alternative, that is I again start my list, that is I write for item in a list s plus equal to item. I do this and I print list sum is. What is list sum? I write s. Run the program and I give 5 values over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can see the sum of the elements of the list is 15.